Here is a good question, and we need to talk about it. Are Houthis Zaydis or Rafida? Are they Muslim? Very good question. I'm putting this here aside, taking the glasses off so I can see you better inshallah while answering this question. The Zaydis are one of the sects of the Shia. In general, the Shia don't like the Zaydis because the Zaydis, Shia, they're Shia, but they don't have most of the extreme ideas and practices and creeds of the Ja'faris, the Imamiyya and the Ja'fariyya. Gradually, they used to have good words about Abu Bakr and Umar. So this is in summary what the Zaydis are. And there were many scholars in Yemen who generally were following the Sunnah and the Fiqh, but they were also Zaydi. Imam al-Shawkani rahimahullah, one of the major scholars of Sunnah, was also Zaydi, but he departed the Zaydi madhab whenever he found evidence to the contrary of what the Zaydi madhab said. So Yemen has competing sects, Sunni or Zaydi, and sometimes the Sunnis rule, sometimes the Zaydis rule. Now we're done with that. This is the history of it. The Houthis are a part of the Zaydi community in Yemen. They are a minority in Yemen, and only because Iran is giving them weapons like crazy that they were able to control the north of Yemen. They prevented the Muslims from praying Taraweeh, because they think, because knowledge is, that they have is bigger than the stuff they put in their mouth, that you can see the mouth is almost ready to explode, taqat. That's their knowledge. That Umar ibn Khattab started Taraweeh. Actually, it's Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam who started Qiyamul Layl, that people call Taraweeh. Umar is the enemy of the Shia, and they are the enemies of Umar. So the Houthis have gradually started becoming Ja'fari. The Ja'faris are the worst Shia sect. It is the most dominant, even though the Alawis, for example, who control Syria, are worse than the Ja'faris. Even the Ja'faris call the Alawis kuffar. So if someone is a Shia and the Ja'far is calling them kuffar, how much kuffar are they? The Alawis then. But the Ja'faris are the most dominant sect from the Imami sect, and here is the summary of the Imamis. I wrote a book about the Jewish temple rebuilt by the Shia. You can find it on my website, islamlife.com. If you can't afford the $3.99 price, the money goes for our da'wah expenses. Send me a message, I'll give it to you for free. We spoke about the aqidah of the Shia, especially the Ja'faris. Number one, the Quran was changed by Abu Bakr and Umar. La ilaha illallah. Number two, the companions, all of them became kuffar after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam died, except for 7, 10, 14, depends on how sober the Shia mullah is at the time, the number changes. Number two, their sunnah is the sunnah that they fabricated over the centuries. It's not the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because to them Bukhari and Muslim are kuffar, so they're not taken from Bukhari and Muslim anything. They fabricated their own ahadith and stuck many of those ahadith to Ja'far, whom they call as-Sadiq. Actually, Ahlul Sunnah call Ja'far as-Saduq, like many other narrators. He was a Saduq. He was someone who said the truth in narration of a hadith. I think Imam Muslim and others have a collection, one hadith from, like Muslim, one hadith from Ja'far as-Sadiq, they call him. He was a truthful person, and he wasn't like what the Shia say. So Quran is out. Sahaba who wrote the Quran and Sunnah from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam out. Their Sunnah is out. They say the most awful things about the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially Aisha. They say that she committed zina after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. So, O Muslims, how can you consider anyone who says these things as a Muslim? From which direction? How? They also invoke dead people, the Imams. They claim Allah repent some of His decisions. They are also Jahmiyyah with regards to Allah's names and attributes. They don't accept them. And they are Sufi. Many of them are Sufi in the practices. So I don't know if there is any community among the Islamic sects, I say it as a figure of speech, that has collected every kind of evil thing in one group. There you find it. I mean, they have, collected all this stuff in one group. So these are the Ja'faris. Iran is ruled by the Ja'faris. There is a large segment of the Iranian community who are Sunnis, they're Muslim. They have been oppressed and persecuted severely since Khomeini came. Khomeini said that Abu Bakr and Umar changed the Quran. Khomeini said that Abu Bakr and Umar were ignorant in the Quran. Khomeini is the man who brought back the Shia religion in our time, and the killing and destruction they brought in Iran, Iraq and Syria is unbelievable. Among the areas where they interfered, they're trying to overthrow the Muslim governments so they can force the people to become Shia. Otherwise, like one of them, the leaders in one of those Gulf countries where they have lots of Shia, he said, I am nice to you now, but don't think that we're going to be nice if we overthrow you. You're going to be hanging from those phone lines. He's telling them, we're going to kill you all. Now, Yemen, back and forth between the Zaydis and the Sunnis, the Ja'faris came in, and the Houthis became Ja'fari. They're Ja'fari. They're not Muslim. They are not Muslim. I'll say it one more time, maybe three more times. They're not Muslim, they're not Muslim, they're not Muslim. They carry the aqidah of the Ja'faris. And if you think that anyone who has this kind of aqidah, who ascribes his religion to Al-Khomeini, who ascribes the Shia religion, that's his words, to Abdullah ibn Saba, the hypocrite. Imam ibn Taymiyyah said Abdullah ibn Saba is the hypocrite, who was a Jew who became a Muslim and started all these ideas about Ali ibn Abi Talib. Khomeini said that our Shia religion, he said the Shia, Dinu Shia started with Abdullah ibn Saba. So those Houthis are criminals. They killed so many Muslims in Yemen. They steal the food, aid that's going to the Muslims in Yemen. They steal it like openly. And the other countries are divided into two parts. Those who care less about Sunni or Shia, whatever, they think they're neutral, and they're dealing with what's happening in Yemen as if between equal groups, or groups that, that's what they're fighting about is who should be the ruler of Yemen. It's not about different religions, which they are. And some others attack the Gulf countries for coming to the aid of the Muslims in Yemen, and but how they did it is not good. I've always said that bombing from the air doesn't change anything. Maybe one example throughout history that bombing from the air made any changes, and the bombing caused the death of so many innocent people, so the war is not going well. So the Houthis took over. They are a minority among the Zaydis, minority among the Yemenis, the Sunnis, and it's because of the Shia of Iran who gave them all kinds of weapons. Now finally, and I had to make this answer lengthy because we need it. These days when the Muslims, except for a few of them, I mean the governments, are standing by and standing back, not to do something later, just standing back, when Gaza people are being exterminated. 23,000 so far, mostly women and children killed, and they're not actively supporting the Palestinians, coming up with the excuse that Hamas what? This conflict started 106 years ago, and it's gradually been like this. The Palestinians have been killed and killed and killed and killed and killed in so many massacres over 106 years. So the latest one is not something that was, the conflict was not started by Hamas. I do not support Hamas. Everybody who knows me, I know, many people get angry because of that. So as you see me, I'm afraid to say it. So I don't support Hamas. I support the Muslims in Palestine, and I defend the Muslims in Palestine. Now, the Arabs are standing by, all these armies, and air forces and all that stuff, they're standing by. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I am sure the Muslim nations, all of them, the people feel bad, feel for the Palestinians, have a great feeling about Al-Aqsa, that it needs to stay with Muslims, remain with Muslims. So what is the situation there? Hamas made a very strategic mistake by allying themselves with the Ja'faris of Iran, the enemies of Islam, and Hezbollah. Most people in Gaza have nothing to say with this. These are the rulers. So the Shia have been trying to encourage Hamas to do things, and then they're going to stand back and watch what's going on. Hamas had rockets. I mean, their weapons are nothing compared to what the Jews have. This is not a war. No, this is a conflict between a major military power and the defenseless people. They're killing them by the tens of thousands. So the Shia, they incite and then they stand back. They say that the Mahdi, when he comes back, he's going to speak Hebrew, and he's going to carry the flag of David, which is not anything, or the Star of David. We don't know if Dawood alayhi salam had that flag. So Hezbollah, they say they had like 10 to 20 times the number of missiles the Hamas has. They shot 5 here, 10 there, They could shoot 100,000. Iran has even 20 to 30 times the number of missiles that Hezbollah has. They haven't shot nothing. Let me correct this statement. They haven't shot anything. Nothing. They're just watching for this ship came in, and then they go seize the ship. Then when the West tells them we need it back, they give it back. Nothing is happening. So the Houthis, they're reckless people, and I don't know if the qat has anything to do with the brain. They know they can't fight the West, but they want to it's just a stance they're taking. It's the talking point. Look at all the Arabs or Muslim Sunnis And look at us, the Shia, the Ja'faris, we're shooting missiles here and there. So many Muslims are asking me, and this is why I said this is a very good question. What can we say now the Houthis are shooting missiles at Israel? Does that make their religion good? So if two people fought, and one of them is a kafir who says our religion came from the Jews, Abdullah ibn Saba was a Jew, and the Jews, and then they have extremely bad religion on both sides, but one of the sides is saying, no, we're helping you, so does that make their religion good? It doesn't. No, it doesn't. So they're shooting missiles, understand, brothers and sisters, as a talking point, so that the Sunnis say, look at our governments, they have all these armies and air force, they haven't done anything, look at the Houthis. Because that will lead next to, what does the Houthi believe in? Their practices. I think they're going to drag the people of the Sunnah to say something good about their religion. Now they shoot a missile or 100 million missiles against the Jews or against the whatever. They killed Muslims far more than the Jews killed from the Muslims of Gaza so far. You understand what I'm saying? We forget about their aqidah, their creed, their practices, who's supporting them. They killed so many Muslims in Yemen. The killing there is continuous. We forget about all that because they shot some missiles at the Jews. I encourage the people who are leading Hamas, please take yourself out of Iran. They're not good for you. They're not good for us. And my support is 100% for our Muslim brothers and sisters in Gaza. Now, you agree with Hamas, you don't, that point is gone. It's already here. And let me add one more thing. The book that I mentioned, Holy Wars, Crusades, Jihad, the third edition, I mentioned there the original pacifier, if I use this word, of Gaza. You know that Ariel Sharon, who was the Prime Minister of Israel, a bloodthirsty devil. You know that in the 50s, he was entrusted by the newly established State of Israel to pacify Gaza. Do you know that he killed more Muslims in Gaza than Netanyahu so far? Do you know that? So you're telling me that the conflict started, Hamas, whatever it is. I have a video coming about gems of wisdom from Hamza Yusuf. Inshallah, wait for that. I'm sorry for the long answer, but I want you to realize that a political stance doesn't make somebody's religion good. See? And I ask Allah to support our brothers and sisters in Gaza and give them victory. The fact that they are praying in the masajid, even when the masjid is completely destroyed around them. The women are still wearing hijab and saying, Allah, Allah, Allah. The men in the West Bank, hundreds of them were killed before Hamas started what they started. And like one of them I saw from my own family, Abualrub, his son had just graduated from medical school. His brother is younger than him, and he started working at the hospital to help the Muslims in the West Bank. And the Jews came and shot them both. And the man wasn't even crying. He was saying, Alhamdulillah. And see, we ask Allah to give them support. Final thing to say about this. You can't do peace with the Jews in Palestine because they believe Allah, God gave them this land. So it's not a matter of peace or political, settlement. They say, this is my land, here is the title to the land. See, it's signed by Abraham. This is ours. You don't exist. You don't belong here. So it's not going to come to any conclusion. The Arabs, please wake up. Please wake up. don't allow the Jews to kill your brothers and sisters, because if you allow them to do that, tomorrow the turn will come to some of you.